like and subscribe. Straight people, what burning questions do you have about the LGBTQ community? There's gotta be gay dudes just not into anal, right? Liking anal is to be expected seems like an unfair standard. Is there a stigma around it? Are gay men that aren't into anal seen as prudes or boring? Sorry if these seem ignorant, just always wondered. I know a guy who just likes hugging, which I think is kind of sweet. Since a lot of people question their heterosexuality, do you also sometimes question your homosexuality? Yes, a lot of people are not 100% sure of their orientation. Not necessarily homosexual, but in the bisexual community there's a term called the B cycle, which basically means the usual doubt and questioning cycle, because due to various reasons, most bisexuals question their bisexuality a lot and commonly. Do you ever feel nervous when you compliment a guy's looks, or flirt with them, because you think they might be straight, and get super angry at you? No. If their shirt is nice, it's nice. I used to be. I still don't flirt, unless I know they're not straight, but if a guy has a nice haircut, or a cool shirt or hat or mask, or whatever, I'll say something. Brightens their day. I love when people compliment my wardrobe, after all. Edit. For all the people who are wondering about the sort of guys who would get their hackles up at a compliment from another guy. Personal anecdote. I grew up in the southeastern US, 90s zeros. *VERY* conservative area, very close to Alabama. *VERY* homophobic. Like hell yeah, Matthew Shepard got what was coming to him, homophobic. So, those sorts of guys. Lot of us LGBTQ+ folks gotta develop defense mechanisms to get by. Is gaydar a real thing? How often do you hit on straight people before realizing they are straight? It's definitely a thing. Though it's never 100% accurate, and it's really hard to describe the exact signs. There's just subtle signals that let gay people recognize each other more easily. I've personally never hit on a straight person before, and I've even called some of my friends being gay years before they came out to me. Since straight people make ********************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************* Do you also make asterisk asterisk STRAIGHTJOKES asterisk asterisk? Well, since I'm gay I can't give you a straight answer. I for one, would love to hear some straight jokes now. Lesbians, do you also find dating women hard? I know my gay buddies always complain that it is hard to find a solid relationship. So, I am just wondering what your dating gripes are? Yes, absolutely. Dating pool is very small, you can't approach strangers, because they could be straight and no one knows who should make the first move. Are you annoyed when people ask you a lot of questions? Or any at all? Depends what the question is, but I am usually very open and I am always happy to help. Is LGBTQ+ subscription worth it, or is LGBTQ adequate? Edit. Thanks for the awards. I've decided to go for the plus. It's worth it for the little extra each month. When speaking of a memory of a trans person, do you use their current gender or the one they were at the time you're speaking of? Current gender. Where do they have their secret meetings, and what kind of food do they eat? Your basement tonight, cheese. Why is there so much biphobia in the community? Genuinely wondering because I consider myself bi. Unfortunately, a lot of people seem to think that bisexuals are individuals who are too afraid to fully come out of the closet, so they still have one foot into straight territory. Others take it as a personal attack that you are being disloyal to one or more of the genders you are attracted to, and you are apparently only allowed to choose one side. It is rather disheartening and disgusting to see. I am sorry for any bisexual people, including yourself, that have to experience such behavior from others, whether it is from straight individuals, or others in the LGBT community. No matter what anyone else says, you, and any other bisexual who may be reading this, are valid. Do you feel like it is genuinely getting better, or heading in the right direction regarding equality and it just being considered as normal or regular as any other relationship or lifestyle X? In my country I think the shift is definitely more positive towards acceptance. Teenagers now just don't care what you identify as. When I came out my teenage sisters were just like yeah, and then told me about their friend's identity and their own. It was a normal conversation, not weird or hushed. *WHAT''S it like to be asexual? I obviously know roughly the idea, but just cannot imagine not having a sex drive, as it occupies my brain a lot. It actually sounds like quite a relief. *DOES the term transvestite still exist? I haven't seen anyone referred as that for a long time. I always think they or them sounds really impersonal. Are gender non-conforming people generally happy with this term though? *IS a transgender male a man who wants to change genders or a woman who has changed genders to a man? And vice versa. I'm really sorry if any of these come across as insensitive. I'm really just trying to educate myself, so I don't make any more missteps in the future. Edit. Wow, so many insightful and helpful replies so quickly. Thanks so much everyone. Genuinely learning from these. Edit 2. This is totally cringe-worthy I'm sure, but can I just say, I'm overwhelmed by the genuine honest replies without anyone criticizing or judging. Thank you so much everyone. I have read every reply. And I appreciate all of you taking the time to help me become more educated and aware. Edit 3. So, thanks to you guys, I now know that being asexual does not mean that you have no sex drive. And is an enormous spectrum of different and unique feelings and perspectives. Transvestite is largely outdated and considered transphobic in many circles, and is largely to do with a kink. That pronouns are personal, and that you should always ask what a person prefers. That they or them not appearing specific can actually be a big relief for some people. And that I was mistaken in my initial comment to say about changed gender. That any trans person is the gender they identify as from birth. I hope this mostly reads okay, and I really feel that you guys have helped me move a little bit more towards understanding some of these incredibly complex issues. It has been so interesting to me reading your own experiences and analogies, which have really given me some clarity. Thank you everyone. Hey ace person here. Asexuality actually varies a lot, and while some people don't have a sex drive a lot still do. Being asexual is more about a lack of sexual attraction to people. For example, when I look at someone who would be considered attractive, I've never thought that I would want to sleep with them. Some asexual people don't mind sex. Some are completely repulsed by it. Most asexual people will still masturbate too. It's not about libido, just the lack of attraction. Edit. I'm really not great at explaining all the nuances of asexuality, so I'm gonna recommend checking out /r/asexuality if you've got questions. For lesbian/bisexual women? IDK if that is the right term, sorry. How do you know you're sexually/romantically attracted to women vs just interested in being friends? Because whenever I see a woman I think is attractive, I honestly cannot tell if I am sexually attracted to her, or if I just want to be like her lol. Edit. Thanks so much for the responses. It has been really fun and enlightening to read about Ivariano's experiences. Definitely comforting to know a lot of people have this dilemma too, regardless of orientation. P.S. I feel like I'm definitely biromantic. Cannot decide on bisexual, because I really cannot imagine the sex without experiencing it. For me, a lesbian, it was more like the way I imagined a relationship between a man vs a woman. With a man it seemed gross and unpleasant, but with women it felt good and fun. It can also be, when do you see a pretty woman, how do you feel? Do you feel the same way as you would when you see a handsome man? Women don't have a harsh cooldown for orgasms like men do. So when does lesbian sex come to an end? Does it just keep on going until they get tired? Actually, that is a myth. Some women do need cooldown time after an orgasm, but yes, lesbian sex can last a long time. Just because you can orgasm a lot doesn't mean it's pleasurable. After some time it gets harder to orgasm and just not enjoyable. Also, at some point you realize you've had your fun, and you want to go back to scrolling on Insta or watching Netflix. I'm not straight, but I don't know what I am. How do I figure this out? Is possible not to be attracted to anyone? Yes. Yeah, that's called asexuality or aromanticism, depending on what kind of attraction you mean. When having gay sex, how do the two men decide whose penis will open up to receive the other penis? Who decides what goes into LGBT+ and what does not? Who decides in the order of, don't know what to call vertical bar sexuality / sexual identities? I am gay myself, and I have no idea lol. This is so vertical bar not an easy question to answer. Even in the community there is still discourse over this. For example, historically there has been discourse on whether asexual people should be included in the community or not. I think the general consensus is a yes on that one. Also, I think sometimes it really just depends on the person. There are rarely ever any clear lines drawn with attraction and sexuality, so it really depends on the individual figuring out how they feel and deciding if they belong in the LGBTQ community. I mean, as long as you are not straight and cisgender, I guess. Edit. And if you ever see pedophilia and bestiality trying to worm their way in, that is a hard no. Those guys. Jail. Ed, I had to add that. At what point is it considered that girl-on-girl home base has been reached? I assume it as a personal assessment, but was not sure if there is an overall definition as with straight intercourse. It's considered home base when you move in together, which usually happens in less than 72 hours. Lesbian home bases when you can give each other multiple orgasms, even though the cat is staring right at you the whole time. Do walnut and almond burn at the same rate? Is oak the most efficient wood for burning because of its density, or are there better options? Thanks in advance. Not sure about the nuts, but I believe all wood burns at the same rate in Minecraft. I work in behavioral health, though not trained specifically in BH. I'm on the public health side, think destigmatizing BH issues and suicide prevention, but I also have experience in sexual and general health issues. As a community health minded person, what's something we as public health or community members as a whole can do better to support LGBTQI+ community health issues that I as a straight man might not fully grasp? Edit. Good lord, I woke up to lots of responses. Lots of responses, my goodness. Thanks so much everyone for the feedback. I've been working in the field for a while and do most of what was said already, but the reinforcement is super helpful because it's not my lived experience, it's yours. Please know that your local clinic or community health workers, surveyors, front desk staff, peer group leaders, etc. really do care about your situation a fair amount of the time, and that things are changing, but healthcare is and a half to steer. On the public health side, most if not all of us want you all to be healthy and happy, so please reach out if you are ever going through a tough or scary time. Honestly, just treat us as humans is the best you can do, man. Is it normal for straight people to on marches, whatever they are called? I want to go on one and support you guys, but IDK if people get mad about it or something. Edit. Seems like I'm welcome. When there's one nearby I'm going. Love you guys. Edit. I actually didn't expect this many people to be okay with it, lol. It is normal, we love all the support we can get. Allies are very much welcome. Can I be gay without liking sex? I had moments when I was younger about wanting to be with a person, but just that male-to-male sex turns me off or weirded me out. Absolutely. You could be gay and asexual if you're romantically attracted to the same sex, but not sexually attracted to anyone. You could also be homo-romantic and heterosexual if you're romantically attracted to the same sex, but sexually attracted to the opposite sex. Why do asexuals want to invade Denmark? I'm nervous. There are estimated to be over 70 million asexuals in the world, which means that we can easily overpower the Danish military. Don't worry, we won't hurt the citizens, and we'll make it a great country. Edit. I know Denmark is already a great country. I've been there once, loved it, and in general I know it's a good country. How did you figure out that you were not straight? Cause I have been having a lot of mixed feelings of my own and I am not sure how to really feel. P.S. I am a guy. Edit. Thank you all for the support. I have gotten something like 110 replies and I am trying my best to read all of them. I am still unsure on my stance, but I think that is okay, and that I'll figure it out with time. Thank you all so much, again. I always had the feeling I was different, but didn't really know what it was that was different about me. Looking back, there were a couple early moments of clarity that I kind of ignored at the time, because I didn't know what they meant. Then puberty hit. It was crystal clear then, I was into guys and only guys. And since it was the mid-80s, I was like, well. Is it difficult coming out of the closet? Like, for very religious families? Honestly, I don't even have a religious family, and coming out is still difficult. It's important to realize that yes, you come out to your family, but there's never one big coming out where it's like noted on your file that you're gay and everyone knows you're gay after that. I still have to come out to my coworkers, and yes, it looks different from the mom, dad, I'm gay conversation. I.e. simply using husband instead of wife, or talking about my partner as he/him, but the feeling of anxiety is still the same. Am I going to be suddenly shunned? Etc. I'm a bisexual Hindu from a very religious family. Coming out is a god nightmare. Half my family is explicitly homophobic. I don't want to know about the other half. I'm out to a relative who is closer to my age, and super supportive, and it still was nerve-wracking, even though I knew he was an ally beforehand. Hinduism isn't even homophobic, Indian families just tend to be like that sense. Coming out is always hard, but it gets easier the more you do it. But yeah, it is harder towards very religious people. Every time I see LGBTQ+, I never have the option to click on the plus to expand and see the full stream of letters. What is the full stream, and what does each letter stand for? Why are you gay? How's it going? What have you been up to lately? And, for a more serious question, is a hot dog a sandwich? 1. Great. 2. I went on a vacation. 3. My brain hurts over this one. If a trans person were dropped into a parallel universe where all the gender norms and stereotypes were reversed, would they still be trans? Related, what do you think of the whole gender is just a social construct thing? 1. Interesting hypothetical. I'm trans, and I don't know TBH. If everyone is transitioning, is anyone transitioning? 2. I think it's true. I can recommend this incredible video, https://youtube.b/cloud7hgjiq8, by Philosophy Tube on social constructs. She breaks it down super well, and presents it in an understandable way. Why I noted called the LGBT community. Alright everyone, I am gay and cannot answer questions about different sexual attires. So if you have a question, hopefully someone else can help you out. Helpful asexual reporting for duty. What do you think about Pride moment, when every company changing their logo to rainbow? I personally have two different opinions that coexist in my brain. A. It's nothing but transparent virtue signaling, meant as a marketing ploy. These companies do not truly care and often are actively harming the LGBT+ community behind the scenes. B. The fact that huge corporations feel confident enough that their pride messaging will garner a favorable public opinion to go through with it is a great litmus test for how society as a whole is starting to warm up to the whole concept, and that in itself is heartening, even if the companies themselves are focused solely on profit. Do trans men feel left out of the conversation on trans rights at all? It feels very focused on trans women. Maybe a little? You're right that it's mostly trans women who get focused on, but they also catch most of the too. It seems like it's much easier for my fellow trans men to transition, to go incognito in society, and that we are not treated nearly as badly as trans women are. Trans women are so often targeted, either by violence or predators, or by people who think they are violent predators. Honestly, I admire their strength, and I just wish it wasn't so difficult for them out there. What does it mean to be both non-binary / gender fluid and lesbian / gay? Is it just attraction to that gender? Edit. I went to bed and woke up to so many perspectives. Thank you to everyone who responded. I have read them all, but am unable to reply as I'll be out all day. Your comments have really helped. That can be pretty subjective. For example, a non-binary person who likes women and presents more feminine might consider themselves lesbian, because even though they are not a woman, they have a very similar experience, and might find themselves in a lesbian relationship. Vice versa for masc people. It is up to the individual to decide if these terms are a good fit for them. So I'm a rural B guy. It's rare that I bump into others like myself, but it's such a relief when I do. Being rural and B is interesting, I'd say. There's not that big of a gay scene, and it's still a bit shunned, sadly. I've never been to a city and experienced the culture, but can safely say I like. And I like. I told my dad this, and he just laughed and called me greedy and good for me. He liked my first boyfriend as well. Good man. Anyway, I'm rambling. I guess my question is, are all these labels important? Honestly, I don't really understand it too much. I'm just like, let people love who they want to love. Do we need to put everyone in these neat boxes? Do any gay dudes get insecure if they have a smaller in the relationship? Because I'd be worrying about this like all the time. I have a larger than my BF. Not that it personally mattered to me, I never paid it no mind, as obvious as it was. However, I began to notice that my BF did not like showering with me, or even just changing in front of me after a shower. Like when are the only two people in our apt and Heller's gathering his clothes and changing in the bathroom. At first I thought it was a privacy thing, but he later confessed to me that he was insecure of his, especially when flaccid around me. It bummed me out that he was feeling this way, since he by no means had a small to me or anything like that. So I just assured him that I could care less about that sort of stuff and that Heller's the best I ever had in bed regardless. I then proceeded to go down on him. But anyway, Heller's come around a lot and has grown quite comfortable around me over the years. Okay, I am LGBT, and I want to tell you something important, guys. The real world is no at Reddit or Twitter. If you are polite and respectful, don't be afraid to ask questions. We won't get mad. We know you cannot know everything. And if you ask something private, well, I'll tell you politely if it is off-bound. I am sick of people online getting offended when CIs people say something slightly wrong, not on purpose. Not a question, but I just want to thank the straights here for not being homophobic and asking genuine questions. Love you all. Out of habit and respect, I have a tendency to say yes sir or yes ma'am. Is there another term for those that identify as they/them? Captain. Mfidi/J. You've been visited by the ghost of a very important man. Pay your respects by liking and subscribing, and he'll grant you 3 weeks of good luck.